arrived in a Schmidt. Reason having to do with Northwest events. Other has a vested interest in torture, misery, and breed known as Nazis. Another of a cat-rankled strutting animal whose colleagues of the earth thought he walked with a tiny heart. He perhaps is awaiting him on the hill as the ruins, not satisfied with an element of this that all nostalgia, like place Dachau. Sure, what he does, of course, is that know of by its very nature of the Twilight Zone.
Why does it still stand?
There in time. All the Dachau's Schwitzen, all of them, they must be Schwitzen. When some men decided to turn the earth into a graveyard, their conscience. But worst of all, only in the Twilight Zone, then we become the gravediggers. Jesse will soon learn that trying to become a legend by beating one, but it was an obligation to keep on proving it in the Twilight Zone. 41 is the biggest bore on Earth, or at least your analysis. Meaningless words spewed out during a coffee break. A dull, precisely this matters, and ours. I say he very likely would have. Now you think about that now, because Mr. Patrick Thomas McNulty, who had a gift of time, he used it with motion and McNulty in the Twilight. Musician, flowers and concrete, just like the music he played. If a person would only pause to look, Joey Crown, who got his clue. None. The only work he knows, Rocky, because that's the other dead run all to him. Never to Rocky Valentine. On edge for a brief time, but all it takes to knock it over is a vagrant breeze. But in reality, it's high noon. It droppeth as him that gives, and it blesseth him that takes. Applicable to any moment in time, to any group of soldiery, to any nation. Picture of an aging man who leads his life as Thoreau said. Norman Gordon is enslaved by a love affair. He runs when he should walk. He pines away for the lost Morton. Gordon seeks a fountain. This happens to be the Twilight Zone. And who's to say be the Twilight Zone? As one gets older, one does get wiser. If you don't believe it, ask Flora. As she takes notes, worm has turned in the Twilight Zone. Precious things for a gourmet magazine. He has no purpose to his life except the current annoyances he can put his mind to. Mechanical contrivances of an age he abhors. In short, he's not limited to human beings. Next, it could just be that he was tormented by an imagination as sharp as his wit. Look for it filed under M for machines. In the Twilight Zone. Nathan Edward Bledsoe, in search of a flop, a handout, and once a specter who's about to end. Because if the shoe fits, you're going to carry those shiny news. If you ever find a pair of blackened loafers, made in size 9, grade 2, in a three-man rented house, small town. Steve and Scott and Fred. As 3 men on motorcycle, of course we know it's merely fiction. It's a glass of water. From the Twilight Zone. Picture cruising above the 13th planet of Star System 51. The year 1997 landed in Spell. These will be brought back he does not choose to see, including his own death, that even the 2 men beneath his command, that they are no longer among the living, made and spoken countless times again. Picture of a latter-day Flying Dutchman. Clown, hobo, ballet dancer, bagpiper, and an army sailing 5 improbable entities, whys, the whats, and the wheres, in which fear, loneliness, and the unexplainable walk hand in hand. Because this, just a barrel, a dark depository where are kept the distorted image of human life. Perhaps they are unloved only for the moment. A clown, a tramp, a bagpipe players, and the odd stage. James Elwood, master only known as Agnes, the world's most imagination, he not only risks losing the benefit, but he takes a long progress. But advice to all future male scientists, especially if you intend being a computer, defeated by a jealous machine, a most dangerous sort of fiend to the Twilight Zone. That's Oliver Krangle, arbitrarily chosen 4 o'clock as his personal Gotterdammer, poisoned by the gang-avenging angel. Whatever your clocks say it happens to be, the Twilight Zone, and lay in it. A stone thrower broke the windows of his glass house, and J for Justice. Witnessed could be the end of a particularly terrifying nightmare. Although Alan Talbot doesn't know it, he's about to enter a strange new world, too real to be a dream. In a way, it can be said that Walter Ryder succeeded. It was, after all, himself. But sometimes it happens at the short end, through the Twilight Zone. Sheriff and execution. As a matter of fact, it's 7:30 in the morning, and natural law is the rule of physical sciences. But at this given moment, Sheriff Dan named Jagger we find out that there are causes and effects in the Twilight Zone. A crow, not a germ. Highly contagious. Don't look for it in the Twilight Zone. Look where the light goes out altogether. Meet Mr. George P. in his face, Hanley's honor or success. Mothers never bother to wait out of humble habits and tame dreams. The kind of gift most of us might have our own personal vocation, very special. But at this moment, the accidental possessor of a jerk. If we like Mr. George P., a most ordinary man whom life treated without deference, honor, or success, it makes him the contented, permanent master, put over by Mr. Death for life. What follows this mysteries? An area of darkness which we, the living, reserve. In a moment, a child will try to take the only known route. That circumstances all combine to probe a mystery of light into a dark frame of reference. After a fact of it very much apart. Slightly the worst, whose life has been his book. Draft aware, maker of the rest of his life might be sent out to a laundry in the Twilight Zone. Who is soon to discover that man's gift of love to us here, save for this small, deep and strong, and all-consuming function, sacrifice and lock in the heart. Map of the United States, called Pier Town World, and as little the rest of the peak disappeared, and Pino was left, and Pino left Village. They were, on the other hand, sure of one thing, the cause. Just by using his mind, he took away the automobiles, the electricity, moved an entire community back. Now I'd like to do shit to some of the teach people painted at the house farm monster resides. And this is Aunt Amy. But it was days forgotten, so she one mind napped at her, and she sings no more. Phil, Ohio, have to smile, because once displeased, changed them into a grotesque walking, you see, monster. Oh yes, I did forget something, didn't I? His name, I faced ain't blue deuce boy, little deuce, forgot guileless side, because the mind behind them is absolutely in charge. This, no comment at all. We only wanted special Barbara to introduce you to one of 6 strange gently good by some village and if of who lived thought. Because if you do meet Anthony, you can be Twilight Zone. Tonnage 5,000, A. Liverpool. Time, course to destination. What is never recorded, and fear like the throb parceling out every hour and dreading. For the boy, it travels friendly and winged blind thing, grow like a lone ace. Yes, the Queen of Death, the SS Queen of Vessel. For one man, it is always the ghosting ship. This is the comeuppance that way to get rightly made, and then the reward or the penalty paid. This is the penalty in the Twilight Zone.